Hi, my name's Carol Roberts. I'm one of the psychosexual therapists that work for Share Psychosexual Service. Share stands for Sexual Help, not Health, and Relationship Enhancement. And you'll be watching this video perhaps because you've already been referred into the service, perhaps because we've suggested you look at it to support you to use our new video appointment system, or perhaps because you're just looking around the website and you just want to get a little bit more information about what appointments might look like for you. One of the most important things that I want to share is that our role as a service is to make sure that you feel as safe as possible while you're spending your time with us. We acknowledge that to talk about sex and relationship issues is extremely sensitive for people and can be very difficult, and what we don't want to do is raise your anxiety in any way at all. We've recently introduced a new video appointment system, and it was actually COVID-19 and having to distance socially that's prompted the service to start using video appointments. And whilst not ideal and there's not being the same as being in the room with your therapist, in the current climate this is probably the best opportunity that we have to engage therapeutically with you and with your partner if you have a partner who's going to be involved. This short video is to support you to use either a mobile phone or a laptop or a tablet to access your video appointments. And I'm going to go through a few concerns and questions that we've had about using the system, and then at the end you will actually see me demonstrating as a patient what it looks like to log on to the system, to get into our virtual waiting area and actually to meet your therapist. If you've got any questions at all, the service contact details are on the website. Please feel free at any time to contact us. There are many benefits to using video appointments in any therapeutic service, or indeed in any NHS service, and I just wanted to explain a few of those benefits to you. I do need to say though that actually using video appointments isn't suitable for every client that we see, and that can be a decision that's made by your therapist, or it can actually be a decision that you discuss with your therapist as to whether or not you feel that you want to engage with video. Obviously, if you haven't got the privacy at home to engage with a video appointment, this isn't going to work for you. You will be offered a video appointment initially, and we do recommend that you try at least the first appointment by video with your therapist. Some of the benefits are listed on this slide. So at the moment, we can't provide face-to-face appointments on site, so we can't have people in our buildings, and that's to keep both you safe primarily, but also to keep the team safe and keep us all fit and healthy. So there can be a benefit from using video. It can enable therapy to start and continue and complete without you physically entering into a building. It's very safe, it's very secure. It's a system that's been bought in by Blackpool Teaching Hospital Trust, which is purely an NHS system for NHS appointments. It's not your usual social media, so it's not Zoom, it's nothing to do with FaceTime or WhatsApp or any other social media platforms. It is a specific system that has been employed by the NHS. You'll be able to see your therapist and they'll be able to see you, and that's particularly important in a therapy appointment for individuals and couples, so that you can pick up on the non-verbal cues that we all experience when we're having a conversation with somebody that we don't quite get when we're maybe over the telephone. It's useful to be able to build that relationship up and actually know who you're talking to and have that identity of a visual. And the other thing is that both you as an individual or you as a couple can attend at the same time on video appointments. And in some instances, we also can offer two therapists to deal with a couple, and we can have the two therapists and the couple on the video appointment at the same time. So, getting ready to make your call. It's really important that the device that you use, which can either be a tablet, a laptop, a PC, or your phone, has a Chrome facility. So this slide will show which of the Google or Apple Safari devices are suitable and compatible to use with the Attend Anywhere. If you haven't got availability of any of these on any of the devices that you want to use, it's important that you contact the service and have a conversation with us. And it may well be that we adjust and use telephone calls, or perhaps, if that's not possible, that we suspend therapy until we can actually physically see you at one of our venues. People will ask whether this uses lots of internet data. So I just wanted to fill you in a little bit about that. So while you're waiting for your appointment, once you've got through into the virtual waiting area, you don't use any data at all. But once the video appointment actually starts, you will use a similar amount of data to the same that you would use, say for example, if you were Skyping with friends or family or using FaceTime. The video appointments, apart from the internet usage, are free. You don't have to pay anything to access this system. Another concern is this secure system? And I just want to clarify that it is a national NHS system that we're using. The virtual waiting area that you will enter into using the service link that I'll talk to you about in a little while will take you to our virtual waiting area that is purely for clients that come to ShareSAG Sexual Service. While you're in that waiting area, no other clients can see your name. Only the therapist is aware as who's waiting to be seen for their appointment. And we know who we're expecting because we use our diary system and we know which appointments we've got booked in a session in that day. Only the therapists for ShareSAG Sexual Service are authorised to also have access into that waiting area. So there is nobody else external that will be able to come into that waiting area and see who you are or see you sat there or indeed pick you up and start an appointment with you. So it's very secure and it's locked down for ShareSAG Sexual Service. We don't record the video appointments, and equally there will be an agreement that you sign with your therapist, and part of that agreement actually states that you must not record the appointments either. If you feel you can't agree to that, then that's something that you need to talk to your therapist about, and it may well be therapy isn't appropriate for you at this time if for whatever reason you have the need to be recording the sessions. When you're referred into the service will provide you with the web page link, and that will come in a variety of ways. Routinely, if you're accepting mail at home, with the invitation that you receive to contact the service to book your initial appointment that tells you which therapist you'll be seeing, there will be a leaflet which clearly discusses how to use the Attend Anywhere system. So you'll have all the information by post if you're receiving post at home. Some clients don't like to receive mail at home, and therefore we have an email system that we can use. We can send the link by email, or we can send it by text message to your phone, or we can send you a link to the service website, and in there you will also be able to get the information required. A few tips. So this is important because if you don't understand these two elements, you possibly will struggle. It's useful if you do connect to home or work Wi-Fi network, because otherwise you'll be using your mobile data, which is going to maybe be a cost to you. So if you can connect to Wi-Fi, that's beneficial, and that is something to consider. If your device rejects the link, so say for example we send the text through to your mobile phone and you just click on that link, it will say, oops, there's a problem. It gives you a facility to copy the link. It just says copy link, and then what you need to do is take it to your Google browser and put the link in there, and you'll see an example of that when I demonstrate in a few minutes. That way you'll be able to enter the browser and you'll be able to get through to your appointment. So it won't work off your phone, it has to go into an internet browser which has Chrome for this to be successful. So what do you need to make a good video call? You need all of these. The most important for me is that you're in a private space. If you're not in a private, confidential area, you're going to feel compromised when talking to your therapist about personal information that you're going to be sharing with us. And we don't want you to feel anxious, and we don't want you to feel on edge. So if you haven't got that available to you, again, that's something to discuss with your therapist, because maybe therapy isn't appropriate at this time, especially when we are doing a lot of social isolation and we may be locked down with family full time, which we ordinarily wouldn't be experiencing. The area needs to be well lit, because otherwise the therapist won't be able to see you, and we will ensure at our end that the space that we use is private and well lit. And you need to be undisturbed. And again, that's being physically undisturbed, but also psychologically undisturbed, that you're not on edge waiting for somebody to come upstairs or come out into the garden or wherever you're trying to do your video call. You must be up and ready and dressed as if you were physically driving to an appointment and walking into a venue to see your therapist. Equally, we will be ready to receive you as we would if we were physically collecting you out of a waiting area and taking you into one of our therapy rooms. And that's just about us setting the scene that you are coming to a professional appointment, because we engage differently if we feel that that's the case, and that this is not just a casual telephone conversation. This is still therapy that you're going to be engaging with. You need a good internet connection. This is important because otherwise the system won't work. And in a minute I'm going to demonstrate how your equipment can be tested before you engage with your appointment. And the other thing that you will need is, on your device, you will need the facility to have a video appointment. So you're going to need a camera, a webcam, speakers and microphone. Now you'll find if you're using a laptop, these are already built in. And on your mobile device, if you're using a telephone, it's often the case as well. But I just need to point out that with some mobile phones, you actually need to make sure that these elements, like your camera, are turned on before you start the call. Otherwise, you'll be able to hear, but you'll just have a blank screen. So you just need to look into your settings and make sure that this is turned on in your device. And when you practice making a video call, that's why it's so important that you do try this before your first appointment, so that you know what you're doing before you engage with your first set appointment with your therapist. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to be the patient and I'm going to demonstrate how to get onto the system, what it looks like to be in the waiting area, and how you'll see your therapist arriving in the waiting area to start your session. So what you will receive from the service is a link. The link you copy and you paste it into your web browser. You select the link and it will take you to a test page where you're able to join the video call. So you will enter the waiting area by Start Video Call. It'll take you to a section which actually tests that the connection speed that you're using is okay. So number one, connection speed, and that's telling you by a tick that your connection speed is okay. It will then test that your speaker's working correctly, and you will hear a noise, and if you can hear a sound, you click yes. If you can't hear the sound, it will take you to some information pages which will support you trying to problem solve what that is. It's then going to test your device's microphone, and to do this you will hold over the hold and speak. And if you can hear yourself, you press yes. And then the final thing is it will check that the video can pick you up and that you can be seen, and if you can see yourself, you press yes. So that's your test done. It then takes you through to an identification page. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to use a false name. Okay, it asks you for your date of birth. And then it asks you for a telephone contact number. And this is really important because if you're having any difficulties, it means that the therapist will be able to contact you. Okay, once you've done that, if you need to look at the terms of use and the privacy policy. And then if you agree to that, you would click yes, and then it will allow you to continue. Okay, you will get into this page. And if you're happy to start the call, you just click on there and it takes you into the waiting area. Okay, so now you can see what the waiting area is like and you will hear the music start.
Thank you for your video call. Someone should be with you shortly.
I'll just turn this down a little bit.
Please read the...
So the therapist currently will be able to see that you are sat in the waiting area, and at the time of your appointment will pick you up from the virtual waiting area. What the therapist might do, if they're maybe say delayed for a couple of minutes, is send you a message that will come up on your screen. This is a message you can't reply to, but it means that the therapist can keep in touch. And if you look now, a notification has come through from the therapist to say, hello, I can see you're in the waiting room. I will be with you shortly. And my therapist's name is Matthew. So I can't reply to that, but actually I can see that he knows I'm there and that I'm waiting. And in a moment, he will pick me up out of the waiting area and our session will start. And if I just unplug the sound, my therapist has joined me. Hi, Matthew.
Hello.
Hi. And then we can start our session. At the end of the session, the therapist will end the call. So once the therapist ends the call, this will happen. Bye, Matthew. And there's a feedback form if you want to complete the feedback form. And that's how you use the system.